Hi, guys and ladies, welcome back to episode number 5. My name is Disama Matiezi. On this episode, we're going to be discussing and understanding what is business intelligence. What is business intelligence? We've spoken a little bit on episode number 4 that business intelligence it looks at descriptive analysis, and we're going to be talking about actually how what happens within business intelligence. We're going to do all of this thing just now after our theme song. So stay tuned. So understanding business intelligence help us demystify and differentiate between what is business intelligence and what is data science. I know a big buzz is around data science, but I think as far as I'm concerned, understanding business intelligence, BI, which that's where most of the analysts are sitting in that are dealing with data, can actually help us demystify it quite nicely. I know in the last one we spoke about how BI is quite suited for descriptive analysis. Just to recap, we said descriptive analysis help us understand the who, where, when, how many, and what has happened in the past. And that is why we are looking at, because we're talking about what happened in the past, not what's going to happen in the future, and is helping us understand what's happening in the past, as well as doing diagnostic analysis to understand really how does it happen. Business intelligence is actually quite good for it. I think it was back when I joined finance department back in 2008 that I started seeing the reliance on what was back then finance MIS, or management information systems, which we had a little bit of a team that was giving us MIS to help us do the cost reports, to say at the end of the month this is how much cost came in, this is how much we could do, and they help us do management reports. And it was at that time that I actually quite got introduced to the love for MIS. And then later on, I understood how business intelligence actually helps MIS becomes much better. The whole point about this is to help organizations make better decisions. We're just not sitting there for the fun of it, but it has to do with better decision making. And me sitting in finance, we wanted to find out best ways of taking the financial decisions to the executive department, which was our Menko team, to say the best way for you to know the finances of the whole department, of the whole business unit, is this way. And the quicker we could give out the finances, the better they could start with their decision making, and the quicker they could start with the decision making. But before we just talk about me and my love for descriptive analysis, let's start by defining what is business intelligence. So, business intelligence could be defined as a practice of turning data into actionable insights. So, we go into data and we turn that data into actionable insight. And remember, we're looking at data that is in the past. So, we're looking at descriptive data and we make that into actionable insights to help us make decisions about the future. The definition allows us to distinguish BI from other type of analysis by looking at processes, tools, skills, and the roles that are involved within BI itself. The aim of business intelligence is to provide actionable insights that enable senior management and business leaders to change and maintain a course of action as we go along. And business intelligence works hand in hand with senior managers and business executive. And I'd like to park there a little bit because senior managers and business executives actually need good insights for business decision making, while middle managers and normally low level managers or team leaders rely heavily on something called operational reports, so that they can see who's the top team, who's the top consultant. I'd like us to differentiate between business intelligence, which is for decision making insights, compared to operational reporting, which is mainly for helping you do your day to day with your small little team, which is ideal for low level managers or team leaders, and middle managers, which is just the manager of others. But a manager of managers and manager of a function is best served with insights that are coming from business intelligence. How can you help out the middle managers and the lower level managers? You help them by getting somebody else who can help them with machine learning techniques, such as robotic process automation. So RPA could be very well suited to send out reports for middle managers as well as team leaders. Second thing, if we're moving on to the skills that are required for one to become a good business analyst, there are four different skills that I'm actually looking at. And you remember, mostly we've spoken about all of the skills fall under the umbrella of statistics and analysis. But if we're looking at it, the first one, if I'm breaking it down into smaller components, is basic statistics. This is descriptive statistics, the mean, the average, the mode, the max and the mean, all of those descriptive statistics. Just knowing basic statistics, not advanced statistics, just basic statistics is a good skill for you to start with business intelligence. The second one is data transformation. If you can be able to transform data from one form to another, we know we're talking about something called ETL, extract, transform, and load type of data. We'll talk about that one a bit later. The third one is talking about data visualization. If we can be able to take whatever data and then do it in the form of graphs or in the form of whatever way that we can see the data itself in a nice summarized format to create a nice story that can actually, it's a good skill that you can have as a business intelligence analyst. And the fourth one is business knowledge. And you must remember, when we're talking about business knowledge, I'm not looking at domain knowledge. Domain knowledge is what's required for a data scientist. And to split the difference between business knowledge and domain knowledge, you can do it this way. Domain knowledge is when we're talking about the industry, like an insurance industry. So you know exactly what all these companies are doing in the industry. Business knowledge talks about knowing exactly what that particular company is doing. So that's the difference between the two. You don't have to have domain knowledge. Just having a business knowledge to say, I know who can give me this data. I know where do they sit. I know how quick can I get there. It makes you a very, very good candidate of business intelligence. So in that way, you can be able to help people grow much quicker, and you would know exactly what they are looking for. And that's exactly what we used to do when I was in finance. Most of our things were relying sitting on, can we see the head count by transformational goals? If you are not in South Africa, we have goals where we are trying to put women in power. We put non-whites in power, where we try to see the positions that they are occupying. So in so doing, that is actually a quite huge transformation, is quite huge for business decision makers to know how far are we going towards it. So it's those type of questions that we will be asked, as well as all finance people know about variance analysis. You have your actuals coming through, you have your forecast coming through. You want to know not just how much are you, what is the variance between the two, but also which area is contributing and which line item is contributing the most to the variance. And now ask the financial officers to investigate what could be done so that by tomorrow we can be in a better space. Third thing that we're going to be looking at is the BI roles and responsibilities. I'm especially looking at different roles that are within the business intelligence sphere, if I may call it. And this includes data engineers. It includes also data and business analysts, or data business or process analysts. I don't know what you want to call them. We're also talking about data visualization specialists, and as well as team leaders or senior managers that are within the data sphere. Said earlier on, the team leaders or the senior managers within the data department help us channel and answer the question. They take whatever insights that have been done, prepare them in a nice memo, and hand them over to executives so that they can read it nicely. Data visualization specialist helps with making sure that the graphs are very, very, very good to, in a short space, in a short or a minimal graph, you can actually answer the burning question. They are the specialists to show that take out complexity and make it simplified in a nice format so that the nice commentary could be written next to it. And they also help build dashboards. When we're talking about Power BI, Tableau, you're talking about any of those, they are the people that are actually sitting there and helping us with that. Data analysts, on the other side, they help with data modeling and analysis. So they go and they build nice data models, or you can call them cubes, which is another term that the data people likes to make. Data analysts build these cubes so that the data visualization specialists can actually connect to these cubes and create nice graphs. So going into data business and process analysts, they help us with the flow to say, hang on a second, let's start with the documentation. This is the flow of our data. This is how data should be stored. These are the rules of storing the data so that everybody else in the data team knows what a data dictionary looks like. So that's the very, very quite important of this business analyst and process analysts that are dealing with data. Because without them, I mean, everybody can actually start making up their own definitions. And before you know it, there's whole confusion where you have 5 definitions that could easily be compressed into one. And before then, we have this other people called the data engineers. They are responsible for the storage of data, especially the ETL, which is the extract, transform, and loading. So they go over, they get the raw data. They're the best people that you can say, listen, we have files here. How do we make sure that we don't run out of physical storage space? They come over, they'll tell you the best way of scanning that information, whether you can use whatever type of scanner that could be converting all of that into information that could be stored as ones and zeros into the database, and what is the best way of storing that. So they take out all of that noise, making sure that it follows a certain procedure, but with the help of the business analyst and the process analyst that sits within the data space. So that's in conclusion, we now could see from what we just discussed here that business intelligence is quite important, and that it is quite different from data science. It doesn't predict the future, it doesn't give prescriptions, it only looks at the descriptive analysis. It looks at what do we have and how did we get there, and also help us with diagnostic analysis to help us understand what has gone wrong, why did we get here, and all those type of things, which is very, very quite important. This is why, as far as I'm concerned, hiring managers could tell by how you define your day to day whether you belong in data intelligence or not. Because if you don't list the processes that are within the data analysis space, data intelligence space, they could easily understand that no, 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 no. I think you are in data, but you're in a different type of data. And already within the data intelligence sphere or department, you have different roles that you can be talking about. If you're talking about extraction and transfer and loading of data, we are more or less trying to match you to the data engineer role. If you're talking about building models, you are more about to put you into the data analysis role. If you're talking about the procedures that needs to be followed, we know you might be a data or a business data business analyst or a data process analyst. If you are now talking about how you are working on visualization and you are putting things out there, we know you are probably a good data visualization specialist. Can you do all of these things as one person? Yes, you could try, but it's very difficult. I've tried it once for a couple of years. It's very difficult, very hectic to do this thing. We used to just take, at least I didn't have to worry about data engineering, but we would just get data extract from SAP, and then we start building a data model. And then from a data model, we will build financial analysis or financial results using good visualization on Power BI and Power Query for to help the Menco and the Exco and the business leaders across the technology space to make decisions. And in that way, as much as it was very tiring and very cumbersome, I would not try to do it again. It is possible, but I would rather want us to split it out so that we can have the business intelligence team, not just one person running in the project. So we know that what is required in there, you must have basic stats skills, you must have at least understanding of data transformation, and you must be able to visualize the data. Those are the skills that are required for you just in business intelligence. I hope this podcast here episode helped you just to understand a little bit about what does it take for you to be part of data business intelligence and to become a business intelligence analyst, and that there are so many caps that you can, hats that you can wear within the business intelligence arena. Could be in any of one, depending on your key skills. Next episode, on episode number 6, we're going to be delving a little bit about the type of analysis that are done by both the business intelligence people and the data scientists. Please stay tuned for episode number 6.